Public Library. My name is Brent, and if you remember the last segment we did on how to do a little bit of guacamole, we're going to talk a little bit about knife skills today. Now, let's come down to the cutting board here and I'll tell you a little bit more about what's going on here today. One thing we neglected to talk about last time was the knife itself. This here is a pretty much a standard 8-inch chef's knife. This is the workhorse of most kitchens, even professional kitchens. You can find these in larger sizes, even in smaller sizes, but a couple of important things. You want a good handle, and your blade edge should not be serrated on these. You will find these sometimes that they got little teeth on them. You don't want those for what we're doing today. Those do make it easier to slice things, but they're terrible for a lot of other things. And they're really hard to sharpen if you do actually manage to dull one. So today we are going to be making some tzatziki. Now, if you're not familiar with what tzatziki is, if you've ever had a hero somewhere in any of the Coney's or diners in the area, that white sauce that comes on them, that's tzatziki. It's yogurt based and it's usually got cucumber in it. So I'll show you a little bit about how to make that today, and we'll go from there. So I got a piece of cucumber here, and I am going to show you the quick and easy way to get the seeds out of this thing. So we are going to peel it, but it's easier to peel it afterwards, for the simple reason that it is slippery once the peel's off of it. Okay, so you take this thing lengthwise and get yourself a spoon and just scrape the seeds right on out of there. They come out really pretty easy. It's not the only way to get the seeds out of a cucumber, but it's simple and it's got a tool that most people have. So once you've got the seeds out, you just take a standard peeler and just take the peel off of that. And we'll do the other side too here. Just going to take that off in nice long strips. No need to rush this. Okay. So once you got the peel off, we're going to take the knife again and we're going to hold it again carefully like this. Keep your fingers back from the edge and take it into narrow lengthwise strips. Again, keeping the front of the knife in contact with the board as much as you can. When you get down to the end here, you can roll that thing a little bit just to make it a little easier to keep your strips. Once you've got those, they should be relatively nice, neat stack. You can always square that up a little bit, turn it 90 degrees, bring them back over. You don't need a super fine chop on this, but you don't want great big chunks either. Again, we're going a little slow so you can follow what we're doing here. This is not a straight up and down motion. There's a little bit of back and forth. We'll do the same thing with this other piece over here. What we're talking about here in these segments is really more about the knife skills than about the recipes. We are going to be making some things here, but we're more interested in the technique than the specific recipe. Okay, so once you've got your cucumber chopped up, get yourself a bowl. You can just put that right in the bowl. Use the flat of your knife to pick things up. Just be careful, as always, not to cut yourself. Rule number one, be careful. Okay, again, we're going to show you a little bit about how to do a clove of garlic, because we're going to need a clove of garlic for this. Mash it with the flat of your blade a little bit until you hear the skin crack. The skin should pretty much peel right on off of there. Just take the root end off of there. Now, this is actually a pretty good sized garlic clove. We're not making a huge batch of this today. I'm actually not going to use the entire thing. But you certainly could if you like garlic a lot. So, same thing that we did last time. I'm going to go ahead and just slice this in one direction. And then on the board, go ahead and just mash it with the flat of your blade a few times. Work it backwards so that the edge is over on this side. You don't want to try and go forwards with this. Once you got that mashed a little bit, just run your knife across it a couple of times. You just want to release as much of the juice as this as possible, and that will blend into your tzatziki nicely. Okay, so we've got some cucumber in here. We've got a little bit of garlic. Now, I don't know that this is necessarily traditional, but I like it. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a little fresh dill, okay? You don't want all the stems. Small stems aren't really going to hurt you too much. Well, they're not going to hurt you at all, but this is a little bit about just how to chop herbs, basically. Pretty straightforward. Get them into a nice little stack there. Same basic thing will work with parsley or almost any other type of herb. Keep your fingers out of the way. And then just run that across a couple of times. Okay, and that can go in your bowl again. Okay, so to that, we are going to take some plain yogurt. Doesn't have to be Greek style, but Greek works really nice. Don't have a specific brand you want to necessarily worry about. Get yourself probably about a cupful, maybe a little bit more. You can always go a little heavier on this. Proportions are not absolutely vital, but play around with it, you get an idea. You're going to need a little bit of salt for this. I'm going to give it about, maybe about half a teaspoon. And a few grinds of black pepper. Okay, so I'm going to take this, give it a stir, mix it together. And then you're going to let this sit for probably at least a half an hour before you're ready to serve it. This is good on lots of different things. Goes great on lamb, goes really good on chicken, good with fish, and frankly, it's yogurt with some vegetables, so there's really no reason you can't just eat it as a snack. There's no reason you can't have this with a spoon or a couple of pita chips or whatever like that. So that's pretty much what I have for you right now, and we'll talk a little bit about what to do with this in a little bit. Thank you very much. Don't forget that when we do finally get back the library open again, we've got some great cookbooks you can check out from the library. Have a good one.